In a move that could make a Big Mac cost as much as $20 and a small fry as much as 10, the state of California has passed a new measure that will let the government decide how much fast food workers are paid. I'm Tony, and this is Real Estate Investing and Landlord News. All right, so I have an interesting article for you today, and it's coming out of the state of California. Now, normally I'll be talking about landlord issues out of California, but once again, I had to bring up a topic that, it has to do more with business, and this is how much these fast food workers are getting paid. So there's this big push, ever since a few years back where they were pushing, we're pushing for, $15 an hour minimum wage. And guess what? They rose the minimum wage and now it's over $15 an hour in California. But the fast food workers still don't think they're getting paid enough. So they lobbied hard to all those politicians out there, all those far left-leaning politicians, to make it so that the government could set how much the fast food workers are getting paid, because they say, well, these businesses are cheating these people. Well, that's just not the case, okay? And now the government is going to set the wages so high that it's going to force the cost of fast food up. And what it'll probably do is destroy a lot of these small franchises, okay? So you have a lot of fast food businesses that are owned by small business owners, okay? They're not owned by the corporate office. They're owned by the small business owner who happens to have a franchise agreement with the main, person. So just as an example, you'll have, hey, this person over here owns one McDonald's, okay? He owns one McDonald's. He's got the employees inside the place, and, that's it. But now he's going to have to fall under this new rule set by California saying he's got to pay $22 an hour to his employees. So if you can't make a profit based on those new pay, you're just out of luck, okay? Because the government's the one who sets the pay. They decide how much these people get paid. So, this really does have to do with real estate in a way, because once again, it's showing you the issues that arise with government set price controls, be that on labor or be that on goods and services, okay? So yeah, this is a big problem. I think that, they're going to end up regretting this in California, but it doesn't surprise me, okay? Nothing that comes out of California has ever surprised me, okay? But before I get into the article, go ahead, hit the like, subscribe button, maybe leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think, okay? What do you think of the state of California dictating how much fast food workers are getting paid? I mean, keep in mind, this is one industry and it's only for the larger groups, okay? So we're not even talking about, like small mom and pop restaurants who aren't like franchises. Only the bigger franchise people will have to deal with this nonsense, okay? And none of the other businesses outside of fast food have to deal with this either. So they're really picking on the fast food industry by doing this and creating an unfair environment. I don't even know if this is legal or lawful or not. I just don't know enough about the law, but they're implementing it anyway. Darn to the people who invested their money in the state of California, thinking that, hey, I can make a profit if I'm paying my people the minimum wage or, slightly above that, but I can't make a profit paying them $7 an hour higher than that, okay? They don't even think of the unintended consequences. And then they wonder, well, why are people leaving? Why are people leaving California? Why are the housing costs so high here? Why aren't people building anything? Why aren't businesses coming here? Why are businesses running away? Well, it's because of your bureaucracy, your government overreach, and you created a system of socialism and people don't like it. Okay? They want to live in a place where, hey, we can run our business without government interference. And it's that simple. So anyway, let's get into this article. It's coming from apnews.com, and that's the Associated Press. And it says, California lawmakers approve landmark fast food workers bill. Let's get into it. California lawmakers on Monday approved a nation-leading measure that would give more than 500,000 fast food workers more power and protections over the objections of restaurant owners who warn it would drive up consumers' costs. The bill will create a new 10-member fast food council with equal numbers of workers' delegates and employers' representatives, along with 2 state officials, empowered to set minimum standards for wages, hours, and working conditions in California. A late amendment would cap any minimum wage increase for fast food workers at chains with more than 100 restaurants at $22 an hour next year, compared to the statewide minimum of $15.50 an hour, with cost of living increases thereafter. So yeah, the state minimum wage is $15.50 an hour according to this, yet $22 an hour is where they're setting the fast food worker pay. That's ridiculous, okay? That is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I'm not saying that's too much money. What I am saying is that the individual owners should be the ones who dictate how much they are paying their employees, okay? How much they can afford to pay. And not the government, not some council of people, well, I'm a fast food worker, so I believe I should get paid more. No, that's not the way that capitalism works. That's not the way the real, free markets work. Okay, you're paid what the market is willing to pay you. Nothing more, not what the government says you need to be paid. And you know what the result of this is going to be is businesses are going to be closed down. It's the same thing that happens whenever we have unions who come in and demand that their employer pay more than they can actually afford to pay. Well, you know what the employer ends up doing? They end up losing so much money that they have to fire people. Okay, that's ridiculous. I mean, we're talking about, hey, thousands of people lost their jobs so that we can keep your wages at this super high, fake inflated level. Well, that's not the way that things should be run. We made history today, said Services Employees International Union President Mary Kay Henry, calling it a watershed moment. This legislation is a huge step toward the forward for workers in California and all across the country, she said, as advocates offered it as a model for other states. The Senate approved the measure on a 21-12 vote over bipartisan opposition. Hours later, the Assembly sent it to Governor Gavin Newsom on a final 41-16 vote, both chambers acting with no votes to spare. Yeah, there was no way that they were not going to pass this. Okay, so basically California is a one-party thing, and the party is so far to the left that anything they want can basically be passed. So yeah, the opposition was just wasting their time. They're spinning the wheels, and nothing was accomplished because of it. So yeah, it said up here that the owners of these restaurants are saying, hey, this is going to drive up consumer costs. And it wouldn't surprise me one bit if that is exactly the case. Like when you go out to California, everything is more expensive out there because they have so many rules, so many regulations. They make it so that things that cost one thing in the whole rest of the country cost significantly more in California. That's why I always wonder, why do people want to live out there? I understand, family connections. I understand, hey, this is where your job is or where the job, hired you for. But, if you can go to California, make 6 figures, making $100,000 a year, and then still be considered in poverty depending on where you're located, well, that's ridiculous, okay? Person making 6 figures should be able to buy a home, should be able to have a good life for them and their family, but not in California. They're creating a world where, hey, this is a place for the rich, the super rich, and the poor. The poor, of course, are going to benefit from all of the government programs, all the subsidies, etc. And the rich, well, they can afford to live wherever they want because they've got so much money. So yeah, I mean, the middle class is just getting annihilated out there, and they are leaving. Okay, they're going to Arizona, they're going to Texas, they're going to Nevada, they're going to all the surrounding states, the places where they can still live with a good quality of life. Okay, they can live the American dream, and I don't blame them. They pass ridiculous stuff like this. They drive the businesses out. Okay, that is why Tesla left. That is why so many companies left. The state of California just isn't worth it. Debate split along party lines. The Republicans opposed, although 3 Democratic senators voted against the measure and several did not vote. It's innovative. It's bringing industry and workers together at the table, said Democratic Senator Maria Elena Durazo, who carried the bill in the Senate. She called it a very well-balanced method of addressing both the employers, the franchisees, as well as the workers. I guarantee that the employers and the franchisees, they are not going to be represented well by this legislation. Yeah, they'll be at the table, but the workers are going to be the ones, and the politicians and the bureaucrats are going to be the ones who are going to be setting the wages, setting the standards for work, etc. And that creates this tense, issue between the groups. So, I like to point out the fact that, hey, here in Nebraska, okay, and I'm in Omaha, Nebraska, so the cost of living is not nearly as high as it is in California, right? But the McDonald's that is less than a mile from my house, they have starting wages for entry-level employees at $15 an hour. Now, our minimum wage is not $15 an hour here, but why do they set the wages so high? Because that is what the market dictates, okay? The market dictates that they have to pay that much in order to get McDonald's employees to work here, okay? So that's why I prefer the market being the one who controls the prices. Now, if you have an abundance of workers, and it's a very low skilled job, etc., why are we paying them top quality wages, wages that other businesses aren't paying? There's no reason to do that other than government intervention, other than push for socialism where, hey, the workers essentially own the business more than the actual owner does. Okay? And on top of that, right, what do you think the response from the business owners is going to be? Now, I've already been into the McDonald's and I've seen the kiosks they have, right? So that they don't have to pay somebody to actually physically take orders. They go up to this kiosk. Even at the drive-through, they now have a voice automated system to take your order, so they don't have to have somebody at the drive-through, taking your order. So how long before they figure out how to get a robot to literally make anything that you order, and they have to minimally staff these places? I mean, they probably are on the verge of doing this right now, to the point where, hey, the business owners, because they have to pay these employees so much, guess what? They're not hiring them anymore. They've automated them out of existence. Maybe we have a few employees inside and that's it. Okay? So yeah, this isn't going to solve anything. All this will do is just create more issues, more problems, and this is exactly the same type of issue that landlords and real estate investors are facing throughout the state as well.